Welcome back. Mojo Sports Championship Weekend. We got the recap for you. Gonna dive through some of the college football playoff rankings. They officially released the bracket. So we'll show you the teams with the buys, show you the matchups for the week, and we'll talk about the biggest snubs, if there are any, and what we have for the future. And then we might even dive into some of the games at the end, some of the recaps. But Joe, you just asked me a really hard question. You asked me right before we started, who's the most famous person I've ever met in my life? And yeah, I don't know. That's like a really tough one. One time I
You
was
meet so many
five.
famous people.
So yeah, so many come to my
You
mind
list roll on with
all at once.
A-listers.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I matched with Sydney Sweeney on Tinder once. So like we just never met in person. Um, One time I was like 5 feet away from Deion Sanders. That was
That's pretty
like,
cool.
but I didn't get to meet him, so that
Yeah,
doesn't count.
yeah.
I don't know. Who's the most famous person you've ever met?
I met Odell Beckham once. That was cool.
I would say that's
Yeah.
pretty freaking big.
Right? Yeah, he's pretty famous. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just know like a bunch of like fighters at this point, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody's
You're
sweet.
no. I'm trying to think like non-athlete, and it doesn't my list runs pretty dry when I get to the non-athlete
Non-athlete,
category.
I met who's that guy? I always get them mixed up. It's not Kevin Costner. It's a guy that looks just like him. You know the guy in Christmas Vacation that has
Yep.
like the uncle that's like, I need
Yep.
to use the shitter or whatever?
Yep.
His brother is a big time actor.
Okay.
I can't think of his name, but I met him.
Nice. Nice.
One time we went to the mall and my friend was like, "Hey, I want to leave early." And I was like, "No, dude, let's stay and kick it." And then he talked me into it. And some of our teammates stayed at the mall. And then they came back to the locker room an hour and a half later. And they were like, "Yo, we saw Shaq." And they all took pictures with Shaq at the mall. And I
That's
didn't get
sick.
to.
I got a similar story when we were at UNLV. There was we'd always go, me and the specialist, like right before we'd hit the buses, we'd go back and just play video games or whatever before. And the one time I didn't go to this guy's house, they ran into Guy Fieri at a like a gas station, and he's like, "Oh, dude, come eat at our restaurant." So that was a big miss. But I mean, he's a hero of mine, UNLV alum.
UNLV legend. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Same kind of thing with him. I saw him. I was on the sidelines of UNLV one time and he was on the sidelines. And I was like, I, I, I can't even approach him. He had too much aura. I felt
Yeah.
like there was like a bubble around him. I didn't want to pop it.
That's genuinely probably I would say that's maybe job 1A. Like if I could just pick a job, like immediately trade places with somebody, I think he's up there for me because that's I don't know. It might be sad, but when I took my visit to UNLV, we were in the College of Business and they have like banners hanging up in the College of Business for him, like just pictures of him. And it's like, oh, alumni, whatever. I was like, I'm sold. Like if this guy made it out of here, if I
Yeah.
can get his life.
Yeah, my brother worked for him for a little bit.
Really?
He shot in Arizona and like they just hire crews that are from that area.
Uh-huh.
And he got to work as like a production assistant. And then at one point he was trying to film a scene outside and the landscapers were just like mowing the lawn. And my brother was the only one that knew Spanish. So he was like, I'll go tell them what we're doing and they'll stop. My brother did it. And then Guy Fieri was like, yo, I want to hire you full time. And then my brother had a bitch of an ex-wife and she did not, she was like, we're not moving to Chicago. No.
What?
And she didn't even have a job. She was,
Oh,
yeah, she was on like unemployment and just didn't want to go. She was just a
dude.
piece of shit. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I
Could
feel
have
for
been a
your brother
breakthrough.
now. That was almost it.
Yeah. Just triple D,
Dude,
365.
the amount of hours I've put into that show is uncountable.
It's the best show to throw on in the background.
Yep.
If I have like people over or something, I'm like, I
Yep.
have no clue. Like if my in-laws are in town, I'm
Yep.
like, I'll just throw
Food
this on.
Network. Yep.
Yeah, easy.
Yep. Guys
Uh,
Grocery Games is also a banger.
that's a good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Triple G. Yeah.
Yeah. His son's starting to take over.
Oh,
Also
really?
a UNLV, alum.
Of course.
Yeah. Go Rebels.
The last famous person that I will say, when me and you actually we went to Mexico, we went to Cabo.
That's
Uh,
right.
for whatever reason, we were like not all getting there at the same time. And then I saw Nick Coletti, and I
Yep.
was like, "Holy fuck, that's Nick Coletti!" And he was like with like these two girls, trying to be super low key. And I'll never forget. I like made eye contact with him, and he could tell I recognized him. And then instead of like making a scene, I just went, "I love you." I just motioned it to him. And then he was like, "I love you too." And he had this big old smile. And I could tell he was just so happy
That we
that I
weren't gonna yeah.
didn't make a
Yeah.
scene. He was just
Yep.
like, "Thank you." So
Yeah. No, you
yeah.
pointed him out to me, and I was like, "Oh, that's sick," and
Yeah,
that
we were
was
like,
yeah,
"Oh,
that
saw
was it.
dude." Yeah, we
Yeah.
could have hounded him.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Didn't
He
do it.
remembers us, he remembers us. Mostly
Oh,
you.
for sure. Yeah. Well, let's dive into the college football bracket. So we got our top 4 teams. They're all gonna have buys. Um, number 1, Indiana. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Georgia. Number 4, Texas Tech. These are the 4 strongest teams in the country, and I think everybody would agree with that. I don't think anybody would argue for any of these other teams to be in the top 4. I think they got the top 4 pretty clean.
Yep, yep.
And then
I
yeah,
no, I was gonna say, the only one I have questions on is Texas Tech, but we can get into that. We'll get into that.
okay. Then we also have round 1. We've got first matchup, James Madison takes the 12 seed. They're gonna head to Oregon, tough place to play. After that, we're gonna get number 9 versus number 8, Alabama heading to Oklahoma. And then we get number 11, Tulane, the second group of 5 team we've listed now. They're gonna go play at Ole Miss. And finally, we get number 10, Miami at number 7, Texas A&M. And a lot of people pretty pissed that Notre Dame did not make it in. Joe, what are your thoughts? Do you think Notre Dame should be in this playoff?
Yeah, no, I posted about it earlier today, but I think this was deliberate. This was on purpose, and the reason is expansion. So, what better team to leave out of the playoff than the only team in the country with the power to lobby for an expanded playoff? Will they do it? Maybe not, but I don't know. This stinks to high heaven to me. I think we're going to get 16 teams because you got 4 teams with Notre Dame, Texas, and Vandy and BYU that should be in this playoff. You nobody can sit here and tell me this playoff wouldn't be better with those 4 teams in the conversation. And to make matters worse, Notre Dame decides, hey, we didn't make the playoff. Fuck the Pop Tarts Bowl. We're not playing in a goddamn Pop Tarts Bowl, and they're just not playing in a bowl game. So, you know what I mean? Like this just now kind of sets the precedent for teams that don't make it, that are in that caliber, that are playing in that one level down of a bowl game, to just say no, we're not going to do it. What good does that do for anybody?
I saw somebody say that starting next year, this was like already in motion, but Notre Dame, if they're ranked in the top 12, they get a bid. That's like that was a rule that they passed like this past offseason, but goes
That's
into effect
that's,
next year.
that's what I'm saying. Like, what are we talking about? They just getting like then just everybody's going to go independent.
Yeah, and this ruined my whole argument. I always said we only have a committee to make sure that Notre Dame gets in the playoff. That's
Yeah,
their whole job. And I was wrong.
yeah,
But I gotta say, I might be the only person that'll say this, but I don't feel bad. That
no,
was my whole point the whole time. When we went to 12 teams, I said 12's too many, but it's not. Like it makes sense format wise, but there's not 12 teams that can win the national championship. There's never been a year since I've been born where at the end of the year, we're like, I don't know, there's 12 teams that all could be number one at the end. Like, no, it's never that way. So if you don't make it into the 12-team playoff, I don't feel bad for you. Just like those teams in March Madness that end up 69th and 68 teams get in and everybody wants to throw a pity party. There's fucking 68 teams better than you. Nobody feels bad for you. So the fact that you do this and you're independent, you don't play in the Big Ten. You didn't have to play Ohio State, Michigan. You're not in the SEC. You didn't play Georgia and Bama. All right. So, I mean, you lost to Miami. They didn't even make their conference championship, and they play in the ACC.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only pushback on that is when was the last time Notre Dame lost? You know, like they lost early, they lost real early, and then they haven't lost again. So you're dealing with it.
Who
You're
have they
dealing with
played?
this. Yeah. No. Yeah, that's right. They haven't played many teams, but at the same time, the way they have this set up, you will never get concrete answers because you don't have teams playing each other in the conferences. They don't play each other enough to know. You don't even have common opponents in some of these big conferences. It's the Gruden talk. It's the same thing he was saying where you're not going to ever know. So the only way is to expand this playoff so that you find out at the end because otherwise we're going to have the same fucking argument every single year.
Yeah, but then you get to 16 teams, and then you go, well, number 17 should have got in. They got screwed. You're like, well, let's go to 24. And eventually you're at 100, and the 101 team is screaming because they didn't get in.
Yeah.
So
I don't hate 24. I don't.
I
I know
also,
it's ridiculous, but I don't hate 24 because then you have the top 25. Then we're talking about real college playoffs, shorten the season, then at the end of the year, there is zero doubt who the national championship is. Like in my opinion, this year you can have a Florida State. Look at Florida State a couple years ago. Would they have gotten boat raced? Yes, probably without their starting quarterback. But if you have 16 teams, let them get boat raced. You know what I mean? That's the thing. And you also have these group of 5 schools where they're in now, Tulane and JMU. If the argument is they're going to get boat raced, well, we're about to find out. Like we're about to find out if they're going to get boat raced, and they probably will. But at least then they play the game. It's the same thing with March Madness. I've never heard one person complain about the play-in games with the extra play-in games. Like expand it. Just expand it. Nobody gives a fuck about the Pop-Tart Bowl. Clearly nobody cares about the Pop-Tart Bowl, so let's just make more playoff teams. Every other league does it. No other league at any other level. The fucking Arizona State high school playoffs do it. I looked at the bracket. There's more teams that get into that playoff than the college football playoff. That makes no sense to me.
I don't know. I don't know if we need more games. I'm gonna be honest, but I'm sure
Six.
the NCAA will love it. I'm sure they'll
It's this,
fucking eat it up.
but so you want to go back to 4?
No, I think 12's the perfect amount.
All
If
right.
you're number 13, I just don't feel bad for you. You can't
You don't
ever.
think Notre Dame is the fifth,
Joe, if we
sixth
go to
best team on
24,
this
what
list?
about the 25th team that doesn't get in?
That's completely different. I think that's completely different. I think Notre Dame, Texas, not Vandy or BYU. I agree with those two. Those two are not going to win national title. Notre Dame and Texas had a real chance at making a national championship.
I agree. Like, I was looking at Notre Dame futures 2 days ago
I had a couple.
because I was like, yeah, they can actually win. I agree. It's a weird situation. But at the same time, one, get in a conference. You don't just get to do this all the
It's true.
time.
Yeah.
Like, I remember they went to the national championship with Monte Teo, and it was the most uncompetitive national championship I ever watched. They
Yeah.
they didn't play anybody the whole year, and they got in because
I
of it.
I don't like Notre Dame, so I'm with you. I'm not upset about it. I just, for the sake of college football, to not have them competing and to have a school like Ole Miss,
Well, you know what
they're
the
in a
fix is,
conference.
Joe? And you know what they're going to do? They're going to get rid of the group of 5 bids,
I know. Yeah, yeah,
especially
yeah,
after these 2 schools get smoked. They are going to get rid of it, and they're going to say the only way you can make it in as a group of 5 is if you go undefeated.
yeah,
That's what they're going to
yeah,
have to do because,
yeah.
yeah, I agree. The fact that they got 2 in, it's crazy. and it shouldn't happen. I think most people are pissed too that the committee led on with Notre Dame being ahead of Miami for 8 weeks and then just
Yep.
this week just flipped it. I think that pissed off a lot of people. But at the same time, okay, you're the two teams on the bubble and you already played each other and one of you lost. Like,
Yep.
that's the other thing. If you're Notre Dame, you go, who'd we lose our spot to? And they go, Miami. You go, that's bullshit. We're better than Miami. And they go, uh, okay, well, we have this box score that says that you guys lost to them. Is that accurate? And they're like, yeah, but that was months ago. I'm like, so it just doesn't matter? Like, I should sit my starters week 1 and week 2? Like, it just, to me, it doesn't work that way. And I'm never going to
No,
feel bad for you.
no, I don't
Is that
either. I
fair?
do think Tulane covers against Ole Miss though.
Okay, well, I was going to bring this up because you brought up Florida State. How much money is Lane Kiffin making?
I think it's north of 90 million
Okay,
for
but
9 years,
just
so
in a
about
year,
10,
just 1
11.
year. Okay,
I think
10
10,
or
11
11 million.
million. Yeah,
And he leaves the program and they still have the 6 seed. Florida State loses their quarterback who wasn't making any money, but apparently he's way more valuable, right? Than the head coach of Ole Miss. The quarterback at Florida State that broke his leg, um, he's
Jordan Travis.
yeah, Jordan Travis should be worth 15 million. Is that what we're saying when he was at Florida State? Because you're paying Lane Kiffin all his money and he leaves and they don't drop in the rankings. So he's not that
That
valuable.
yeah. Yeah, you're onto
How do you
something.
not drop Ole Miss? That's kind of my question.
Yeah,
Or is Lane Kiffin
yeah,
just not good? Committee thinks he's overrated. That's what it sounds
me too.
like. um, I mean, we could dive into just these not hypothetical, but these matchups for the playoffs. Um, Alabama, Oklahoma right now, it's basically a pick 'em. Alabama
Yep.
minus 1.5, over under 41.5. So a low scoring game. Then Miami, A&M. A&M right now favored by 4, over under 51.5. Tulane, Ole Miss. Ole Miss favored by 16.5, over under 56.5. And then James Madison going to Oregon, spreads at 20.5, over under 50.5. And you think
There
the first one that
there's
jumps out
no
to you is Tulane?
what did you say the line for Tulane?
16.5.
16.5. Okay. I was
I mean,
hoping
there's
that'd be
probably a
closer to 20.
17 somewhere.
Yeah, no, I was hoping that was closer to 20. I like them to cover. I like them to cover, and the only reason I say that is because Ole Miss seems to play to their opponent. So the thing that jumps out to me is yes, Tulane. I think James Madison also 20 seems like a lot, but Oregon can turn it on when they need to. So I think they're about to turn it on, and I think they're going to get healthy. They got a few weeks to get healthy. They've been hurt. I think that's going to stick in people's mind as like, oh, they've been in these close games and whatever. But I like Oregon as a dark horse, honestly, to win a national title. I don't think that's out of the question. So to me, Tulane is the upset here. I think that one is really the only underdog that I like. I like all the other favorites. I really do.
I've only made one bet so far. I put 5 units on Oregon minus 20.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
right
That
as it,
seems like
yeah.
the yeah.
I
You
think we're
just
in for
can't.
a blowout.
Yeah,
I mean, JMU just played a pretty close game against Troy, conference championship. Troy, not as good as Oregon, I can tell you that.
no,
But also, Autzen Stadium, that's a tough place to play, and you got to travel all the way across the country to play it. Yeah, I think we might be looking at a bloodbath on that one.
I agree. I agree. Which side would you rather be on? Would you rather be on the to me there's this is the group of death is really the bottom half of the bracket. The Tulane, Ole Miss, Georgia, Miami, Texas A&M and Ohio State. That to me that side, if I could bet sides of a bracket, I would bet the national champion comes out of that side because I think it's going to be Georgia or Ohio State that wins the national title this year. I may take a Georgia future. I am very high on Georgia, and I think they will match up favorably against Ohio State, especially after watching them play Indiana. I think Ohio State looked a little bit vulnerable when they played in that game. And to me, I think it's a pretty clear path for Georgia Ohio State to win the national title. Because even if you get to the national title game, it's going to be more than likely Indiana or Oregon. I don't think Bama's got the firepower to do it. I don't think Oklahoma's got the firepower to do it. Like, it's going to be Indiana, Georgia, Ohio State. Those are my three top picks to win the national title.
Which
One,
makes
two,
sense
three.
because
Just
they're the top
real
three.
hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, real hot take.
You're out on Texas Tech, though.
I'm out on Texas Tech. Yep, I'm out on Texas Tech. I think they are good, and earlier this year I was very in, but then watching them lose that game to Arizona State, and I know they were missing their starting quarterback, but if Texas Tech goes down in a game, I just don't trust them to score. I really don't. They're playing against Big 12 defenses. I think when they get matched up against a Big 10 or an SEC defense, it's not going to go well for them.
I think their defense can hang with the
I
SEC.
agree.
I
Yep.
think their defense is an SEC defense, essentially.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, a theme with this too is I'm seeing a lot of good defenses are in this
Yeah.
playoff,
Yep.
right? Like Texas Tech, elite defense, Indiana, elite defense, Ohio State, the elitist of defenses, even teams like Oklahoma, very elite defense. They are not even close to the playoff without their defense. So yeah, I think Georgia, out of the teams with the bye, I would say they probably have the worst defense, which is weird to say out loud,
Hilarious.
considering
Yep.
who Georgia has been.
Yep.
But they looked awesome against Bama, and Bama did not look right. Bama looked really bad. Simpson looked really bad. I don't know if he's hurt right now, but if he plays that way against Oklahoma, that could be trouble, especially on the road. But yeah, I don't know. That game could be a rock fight.
Yep. I think that the most excited I am just because I don't totally know what's going to happen, but I think it's the Texas Tech Oregon. I mean, assuming Oregon wins that game against JMU, I think that game is going to be probably the best on the schedule because when I'm looking at this, assuming Ole Miss beats Tulane, they face Georgia that next round. I think Georgia waxes them. I really do. And Texas A&M Miami, that'd be a fun matchup, probably Texas A&M I'm going to take in that one, so we get a Texas A&M Ohio State. Marcellus Shell, if he can play well, they can sneak past Ohio State, but I like Ohio State in that game. So I just feel like it's kind of chalky. I feel like it's chalky. It's going to be chalky till the end, and we're going to get a 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe,
Yeah.
semifinal, maybe a 5 with Oregon, but I don't know. I don't know if it'll go higher than that. I'm going favorites this playoff.
Which point I would say the fact that it's chalky and that we think it's going to be chalky, I think the committee did a pretty good job in that sense.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
all the best teams seem to have buys, and they're going to match up with teams in the next round that they likely should beat those teams anyway. And yeah, I think there's a chance this year that we actually do get all four of those teams in. Obviously, new playoff format too. Last year, Boise had the bye. Um, so yeah, it's completely different now, but I think every year it gets a little better, right? Like we're still new to this, they're still figuring shit out. And it seems like every year when they switch something, worst case scenario pops up the very next year to like counter what they did. Like this year, getting two group of five teams in, they're like, oh, that's a problem we never thought we would have. And now we got to fix it. Um,
Yep.
yeah. So
Yep.
if you want though, do you want to dive into the games now, or do you want to talk about any more snubs? What's the deal with BYU? I see them on Twitter and they are pissed. They are so mad that a team like Alabama gets to stay in and that they don't. They lost to Texas Tech. They only have two losses this year, and they're both to Texas Tech. And then their head coach at BYU, he said, oh, so we're out of the playoff because we lost to the best team in the country twice? And he said, if you don't think they're the best team in the country, just wait till you play them. That was his
Yeah.
words.
I think they've got a little bit of a leg to stand on because out of every team that lost the conference championship game, they are pretty much the only ones that didn't drop in the rankings. Ohio State dropped to 2. Alabama didn't drop. Like, they are penalizing them for a game that doesn't make a lot of sense to penalize them. Now you look and you see, okay, there's only one Big 12 team in, right? You only have Texas Tech in the playoff. So if there was 2, 3 schools from the Big 12 in, then we'd have a little different conversation. But at 11 and 2, they almost would have rather not been in that championship game. The incentives are not there, and that's why I think this is all just setting up to lead towards expansion, because this it doesn't make a ton of sense. You get the conference champions, there should be 8 teams automatically from those conference championships. Those are the best teams in the country, and then there's a wrench thrown in that though as I'm talking about it, because what do you put fucking Duke in? Like, you got to fix that before you can do that. But at the same time, that's the obvious answer. You can't penalize teams for playing an extra game. I think it is a little bit bullshit that BYU's out. But is BYU better than Notre Dame? No, I don't think
No.
so. So yeah, it's expand it to say there's 4 teams that have a legitimate cause to get in right now. Vandy's maybe the only one in my head that's like, probably shouldn't. They lost a few games but I don't know. Yeah, make it 16. This solves all the committee's problems. I think they're doing it on purpose. It's an inside job. It's a conspiracy. I really think so.
I think my like bark back to the BYU boys is you're mad that Alabama didn't get kicked out. Well, guess what? Alabama already beat Georgia. They're 1-1 right now. If you, I mean, you played Texas Tech twice, and neither time did you cover the spread. Not only did you not cover, you got beat by more than 20 points in both matchups. So if I'm in the committee, I'm going, you know what would be interesting? What if we put BYU in the playoff and then they played Texas
Against
Tech at some
Texas
point?
Tech.
Oh, and then they got fucking killed again. Oh, we already know what happens. At least with the Georgia one, you go, yeah, Bama had an off day, but Bama has already beaten Georgia. We know they can beat Georgia. I don't think anybody's watched either of those BYU games and said, you know what, if they had one more chance, they'd probably beat Texas Tech. No, both times were
Yeah,
very convincing. And with Ohio State, that one's obvious too. It's like you played the number 2 team in the country. You're number 1. It was a very tight game. I mean, they controlled the game for a lot of it, I would say. In fact, they had 2 drives in the second half that ate up so much clock, and they just didn't come away with points on either of them. So, I don't know. Once
yeah.
again, I don't feel sorry for any of you guys. Okay? Do what Ohio State did. Run through everybody, and then you lost your conference championship. Guess what? No harm, no foul. But if you're dropping games during the season, that shit will come back to bite you. That's what I like about college football, is that every game matters. You have to be on 10 at all times.
I think it's also hilarious that they're coming at Bama. They're like, Bama shouldn't be in. And then JMU and Tulane are just sitting there like, yeah, no, they shouldn't. You're right. it's, it's such a hilarious world. Yeah. I
Yeah.
like the group of 5 though. I think you gotta, like, to keep the sanctity of college football. It's the same thing with March Madness. You get these crazy underdogs, and yeah, they're not going to win a lot of games. It's the same thing in March Madness. They don't win a ton. The higher seeds usually win, but the couple times, if we get a JMU upset of Oregon, if we get a Tulane upset of Ole Miss, like, that's it. That's why we watch this sport, because you do have that possibility. Yes, the point spread's nuts. Yes, I don't think it'll happen, but that's why they play the games and not, just look at box scores, because it could happen, and that's why college has an advantage, because you're playing these random ass schools with tribal fan bases. Tulane and JMU maybe aren't the best example of that, but you get some of these small schools with nothing else aside from, hey, we made the college football. That's a national title for these group of 5. So you take that away, I don't like it, because if you're playing for a group of 5 national title, I don't know. I just don't think it hits the same. You lose everything about the sport that we love.
Feed them to the wolves for all I care. Yeah, let them play
Yeah.
Ohio State first round. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's your championship.
Yep.
I just think the upsets are a lot easier in basketball. I think they're more likely.
It's true.
I think
It's true.
football, like we played at UNLV, if we lined up against that Georgia Bulldog team that year, we'd probably play them 1,000 times. We'd probably lose 1,000 times. They just out physical us. But if we played them in basketball, there's a chance we get hot from the three. There's a chance they're having an off night and we beat them. I think
Yeah.
it's tough,
The
but
Statue of Liberty Boise State Fiesta Bowl team would like a word with you on that one. You know, it's
yeah,
possible. That's what
but
I'm saying. Like, it's
that's
possible.
different to me because that team was that team not undefeated,
Yeah.
right? Like I think if you're the only ones that come to mind really for me are Boise State. They've done it multiple times where they are an actual top 10 team in the nation. And then Cincinnati with Desmond Ritter and Fickle, they made it to the college football playoff when it was four teams. So like they have a legit case. But in a year like this, where you have a bunch of like above average ones, but none of them have, I mean, we didn't even know what group of five team was even going to go
Yeah. Yeah.
until the night of the championship, you know? So it's one of those things where none of them separated themselves from each other, let alone, hey, now you got to go play against Signetti. Now you got to go play against Oregon. It's like, ah, I don't know. I don't know.
I just I need them to cover. I need Tulane or JMU to cover just to have a good game, just to fire back on the haters. That's all I want.
Well, I hope it's Tulane. I hope it's not JMU. But let's talk about JMU. JMU, they played Friday night. Uh, they hosted Troy. PFT, he was on the field. He was leading the chants. This game was actually really tight, though. There was a chance that JMU was going to lose this game, cause even more chaos with the committee. Um, who knows? Maybe, I don't even know. They might have put Boise State in at that point. And there were actually people on Twitter that said Boise State, you look at their metrics, strength schedule, everything, they were like, Boise is better than JMU. Boise beats JMU in a head-to-head matchup right now. Um, so, but they're in and they get to go play Oregon now.
Yeah. I think Boise State would dog walk JMU if they had Matson at quarterback. I mean, recency bias because we just watched them smack UNLV, which we'll talk about that game. But JMU, I think, is the weakest team in this bracket by a large margin. I really do. I just the fact they put two in, I can't get over it. It was the right thing though. They made their bed. Now they got to sleep in it because there was no other way around it. The ACC really fucked stuff up. That was hilarious to watch. Again, conspiracy theory to expand the playoff. I really think it was.
And low key to me, it feels like Oregon also gets a bye as the 5 seed. I'm just gonna say
Yep.
it.
Yep.
um,
Yep.
and did you see who JMU hired as their new head coach?
It's yeah, it was
Billy Napier.
yeah, Florida coach. I was going to say, yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
remember his name. That's how much of an impact he's had on me as a head football coach. But this is his comeback. If he doesn't do well at JMU, I mean,
Yeah.
everybody does well at JMU apparently.
It's a gold mine down there. Let's talk about the UNLV Boise State game. I know neither of us are really stoked about it, but I got news for you. If you go down 21-0 in a championship game, it's going to be tough to come back. And that was the case for UNLV. At one point, they brought this back. It almost became a game in the second half. Like the offense picked up, started rolling, and that's kind of the story of the whole season, right? Is that sure the offense looks fun. The offense can score, just can't stop anybody on defense. And the amount of missed tackles from this UNLV defense was just appalling. And yeah, Maddox, he scores the first touchdown. Should have known that. Should have bet that, right? Like he wanted to get in that end zone right away. But game was cold and a slow start, it's going to kill you every time, especially when you have a terrible defense.
Yeah, watching this game too with RG3 on the call just made things so much worse. He just
Yeah.
he's Bill Walton, and in 20 years he's going to be Bill Walton. Just no idea what the guy's talking about, but he makes for entertaining TV. But when you're on the losing side of one of his broadcasts, I mean, it's the fucking worst. I hated it. But I think the real story of this game was the fumble on the first drive. I think if UNLV goes down and scores, because they were moving the ball well. That first drive, they looked good. I was kind of pumped. I thought, hey, this is going to be a good game. We're going to put up some points. If we can get ahead, this game turns into a different game because then it's a shootout. We know shootouts. We've been in shootouts the whole year. But that fumble really cost us on the first drive, and it was just unfortunate because if we go down, get 7, I think it's a totally different ball game.
And the kid was just fighting for extra yards, just fighting for
Yep,
extra yards, and just
it was a
I'm
good
like,
punch
hey,
out.
yeah. Sometimes you just go down, or sometimes when there's a lot of
Yep.
people rolling around you, you just tuck that ball tight and hold on for dear life. He didn't do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we don't have to worry about Boise State anymore because they are officially heading to the Pac-12, and now we have the target on our back. I feel like there's no doubt that we are the leader in this conference now, the Mountain West, because we lose San Diego State, we lose Fresno State, we lose Boise, bring in what, Northern Illinois, Texas State, some decent teams,
Cal
nothing
Poly.
crazy. Cal Poly, yeah. How could I forget? Shout out Skip. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I don't know. It seems like we may be the Mountain West leader, and maybe that leads to a playoff spot next year.
Did it surprise you that Mullen is sticking around and didn't take one of these 50 jobs that opened up?
I think some coaches they get to Vegas and they start to shake hands with all the casino owners and everybody that runs this town. They start meeting the donors and they think, this is pretty badass. This is a pretty good spot. Yeah, I think that gets to some people, and I think that's what happened to Mullen. I feel like he sees Vegas and he's like, "Oh, I've got a seat at the table now."
He's in a couple debts already from the high
Yeah.
roller tables, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you're staying another year, pal."
Yeah, he's following Tarkanians. The last game Friday was the Group of 5 banger, North Texas at Tulane, and I was proud of this game because I liked the under, and I thought Tulane's best chance to win this game was to try to drag it out, try to run some clock, and just not let that North Texas offense get going too fast. And there were some questionable calls in this game, Joe. I don't know if you saw, but Mestamaker, there's a turnover, guys rumbling into the end zone, and Mestamaker makes an amazing hit and puts his shoulder pad right into the ball goes flying out. There's no way that kid was in the end zone. He was short.
Nope.
And they reviewed it for 2 minutes, and then they confirmed the call, said touchdown, 14-point swing just like that. And North Texas ends up losing 21-34. And now we get to see Jake Retzlaff, which he was just at BYU last year. And now he's sitting in the playoff, and he's looking at all of his old teammates saying, "Hey, I guess I made the right choice."
Yep. Yeah, we went from BYU to Tulane. That's what they're saying. I've seen it
Tulane? I haven't
everywhere, and
heard that one yet. That's fire.
yeah, I can't take credit for making it up, and nor do I want to because I don't want to be
Yeah.
burned at the stake. But yeah, it's a good one. So I had this one wrong. I really thought North Texas would win, but sometimes when you live and die by the 3-pointer, which basically North Texas has the whole year, their offense has carried everything. Their defense has been atrocious. That's just what happened. So Tulane, I wonder if their coach now is sitting there telling the team, "Hey, you guys don't deserve this playoff spot at all." Because a couple weeks ago he was saying they're not a top 25 team, and he probably got the playoff bid, and he's like, "Hey, you guys fucking suck. I hope you know that." And he's just keeping the rat poison mentality. So we'll see. We'll see.
I hope they put up a good fight against Ole Miss. I really do, but
I do too.
uh,
They've already played
I'm
this
not
year,
sure.
right? I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that
sure they've
actually
already played this
yeah,
year.
and they got smoked.
Yeah, it was 45-10.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely
just
smoked.
a banger of a game coming up.
Which lines up because I like the over, but, yeah, I don't know. So hopefully Tulane can,
Hard to beat a
put up
team
points.
twice, I guess.
That's what they
Yeah,
say.
I don't know.
Yeah. Um do you think he follows his head coach, North Texas, is going to Oklahoma State? You think Mestamaker just follows him? Or you think Mestamaker I could see him getting a very large bag from a very big school. He's got the arm talent.
Yeah.
He's been the talk of the town. But it also makes sense to me that a guy like that would just ride with his head coach.
I hope he does just for the storylines, but I think he's gonna have a pick of a school that needs a guy. So I don't think it matters where he ends up. I'm just excited to see him play. Him and Sag have to be the top 2 bag getters this offseason.
Sag's staying.
He said he's staying?
He's staying at Cali, officially said.
Wow.
He's afraid of the
I
bright
wonder if he
lights.
got
That's what
some,
I
like
think.
he got some pre-seed money at a one of those tech companies out in the Bay Area or something.
Yeah. Ron Rivera is the general manager over at Cal. Maybe throw him a bag. I don't know. But yeah, it dropped draft stock for me because I'm like, this guy doesn't want to win. You can't win at Cal. You're not going to the playoffs at Cal. So this guy's afraid of the bright lights.
Maybe he's like, "I'm gonna build up my draft stock even more and then get a bigger bag the year after."
And he gets to go play in the Hawaii Bowl against Hawaii.
Yep,
So I think that's a fun
that's
matchup,
gonna be
Hawaii
awesome.
Cal. Yeah. We could talk about Miami, Ohio versus Western Michigan briefly. I know you were all over Western Michigan, so you had to love this game. And yeah, I ended up taking the over or the what did I take? I took the under in this one. And it looked grim early on, and then nobody scored for a while. And we hit. So good game for the fellas.
Yeah, Broncos roll all over that. The Mac is it's still I still got it. The fastball's there. I didn't lose that this season. I lost everything else, but I know Mac ball.
Yeah, next year we will be all over that. We know. As soon
Yep.
as we're in week 6 and they're about to start action and you're 10 and 42 on your picks, we're gonna dial in for action.
No, next year's we're gonna turn around next year. I have a new scheme I'm cooking up.
Oh, you're going from Grok to Chat GPT.
No, I'm just
We're
gonna
switching up
blindly
AIs.
pick games. It can't go worse.
It can't. Don't worry. We both ended up with losing records, Joe. Okay. This is just a losers podcast. Let's dive into the big games though. We had Georgia versus Alabama and 28-7. I was on over 48.5. Never even sniffed it, Joe. Never even got close. They could have played 6 quarters. I don't think it would have got there because Alabama could not move this ball. Ryan Williams, nowhere to be found. And then Simpson to me just, I don't know. Like I said, he looked like he was hurt or something. He just could not get anything going.
Kirby was in his bag. I thought Alabama would win the first half. That was my play. Alabama first half money line, Georgia money line. So 1 for 2 there, but I did have Georgia winning this game, so I was happy to see that. But at the same time, I really thought this would be a little bit more competitive. You're right, Alabama just I don't know. I don't know what was going on with them, but they did not show up. They didn't get off the bus.
The Dr. Pepper halftime show is the most competitive part of this game. We had
Yeah.
the guy and the girl
Yeah.
going for $100,000 tuition, throwing balls into the Dr. Pepper can. And it wasn't even that close, but it was better than the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Bad showing from Alabama. It really dropped my perception of them going into this playoff.
Yeah, and Kirby, no Alabama problem now. Now can we just like say
Yeah.
that he doesn't have an Alabama problem? That's fair.
No. He's got an Alabama they're a nuisance. He doesn't give a fuck. He's after natties. When it matters, Kirby turns it. He is the Sith Lord of college football. I am high on my Kirby stock right now.
He's still one of the only 3 active coaches with a national championship. It's just him, Ryan Day, and Dabo. That's it. So, who knows, maybe Signetti joins that this year, but there's a decent chance that it does end up either Ryan Day or Kirby again.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a Rams Georgia future that I put in probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. Rams Super Bowl, Georgia national title. So the cash out is now positive on that one, and I love to see it.
I think the Chiefs Ohio State, I think that future
That
parlay,
one
I
might be
think
dead.
that
Yeah.
one might have died tonight as the Chiefs
Yep.
got beat by the Texans.
Yeah.
Uh
Chiefs are costing me that one.
yeah, it's not Ohio State. It's definitely the Chiefs. But let's talk about Ohio State. They play in the Big Ten championship against Indiana, and This game was very close, very low scoring, two really good defenses, and it feels so good for me to see Indiana compete in a game like this, and not just compete, obviously they won, but even if they lost this game, I don't think anybody would have lost any respect for them. Whereas last year, they were the Cinderella team, and then when they got to the college football playoff, they got exposed. And I remember last year they were just printing money for me, and then I rode them in the playoff, and it did not work out. Uh, but I think Mendoza has officially locked up the Heisman at this point, right? Like, how can you? Everybody was talking about Pavia on Saturday. They were saying he's going to get it. And after this game, I don't think there's any way you can give it to him now.
No, I think pregame Pavia was -105 before this game happened. So he was like climbing even the number one favorite spot, and then postgame, Mendoza was like -15,000 or -1,500. So I think they they know something, and it's definitely Mendoza. So he earned himself a Heisman on Saturday, and we kind of talked about it. We said it was either going to be Sayin or Mendoza coming out of this game that would win the Heisman, and we were right because this game really did determine it. And Mendoza did have a couple moments there that were finally a little bit of a Heisman moment, needed to have it, back against the wall type thing, and he did it on the biggest stage. His post game interview though should have dropped those odds because that was hilarious. I loved it, but he was getting bagged.
The Kirk Cousins comparisons are just uncanny.
Yep,
It lines up so
yep.
perfectly. Somebody did drop a receipt on me from a text thread, and this was a good receipt. This was one that I completely forgot about. They sent it to me last night in a group message, but they asked me in May. They said, "Hey, who's a sleeper quarterback for the 2026 draft?" And I replied, I said, I think most of them are already known guys. Like there's so many quarterbacks that people are talking about going into this year. So I said, if I had to pick a sleeper, it would have to be Mendoza. He was at Cal last year, transferring to Indiana. I said, if he balls out this season, I think he can get drafted very, very high. And wow, I've never been more right on a take, Joe. And I didn't put any money on it or
Nailed down.
anything, but somebody sent it to me, and I would have never remembered that I said that. So, um, if you don't believe me, I will post screenshots. All right, so come at me in the comments.
Shout out to him, your friend, for being a good friend, reminding you that sometimes you are right.
Shout out Money Mark. I guarantee he's listening right now. And
Shout
then
out Money Mark.
we capped off the night with Duke versus Virginia, and a lot of people said, "Hey, Duke doesn't deserve to be in the ACC championship. Virginia just beat them by 17." You were on that money line in that game, and Duke had this game won, and all of a sudden they let Virginia slide back into it. Virginia mounts a wild, like last minute drive, gets this game to overtime, and Duke starts with the ball. They end up getting stopped on the goal line, and they go for it on fourth down, fourth and goal in overtime, which is a scary spot because if you don't get it, the other team kicks the field goal and wins the game right away. So they end up converting, and then about 2 plays into Virginia's drive, they throw an interception, and Duke creates chaos.
I loved that fourth down call because you're 7-5 playing for an
Yeah,
ACC championship. Put your fucking nuts on the table. Like just it
hell
was
yeah.
it was the perfect ending, honestly. It really was. Both these games, Ohio State, Indiana, and Duke, Virginia, we got kind of some sleepers to start the day, some blowouts, and then these two saved the day. They really did. They were both awesome games. And this Duke game was everything we wanted from a chaos perspective. It really was.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll get some sweet bowl game to play in now. Definitely not going to the playoffs. uh, and once again, don't feel bad for Virginia. I think the only person that's really like super stoked about this is Miami. Miami basically put their destiny in Duke's hands. They said, "Here's our season. It's on you." And shout out Manny Diaz comes through.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the guys that were at this game in full JMU gear, just rooting for Duke. That was hilarious to me. I loved
Yeah.
that. They kept flashing them in the crowd, and I was like, that is such a good move by those dudes. Yeah, shout out to those guys.
Yeah, those guys had a hell of a 48 hours because I guarantee they were
Right.
at the JMU game. Not that far of a drive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Joe, we've let the dust has settled. We know what the playoffs are. We understand the mission. We got to wait a couple weeks. I know some people are mad about that too. They're saying these teams that have bye weeks, they basically don't play for a month, which can be a disadvantage. It's an advantage when it's a week or two. Once you get out that far, though, it does feel weird. It feels like you're out of rhythm. So that can also hurt some of these teams. But I'm very interested to see where these games go. And on the next episode on Thursday, we're going to break down some bowl games and just talk some storylines.
Yep. We might have some postseason awards to give out too. We've been talking about some awards, so we may have some fun moments from the season. And as we get into the off season, the show will switch up a bit. We won't strictly talk about college basketball or anything like that. It'll kind of morph. So if you have any topics that have been burning, a hole in your mind, it can be anything. It can be food reviews, it can be movies, it can be conspiracy theories. We'll take it all. So if you got something, appreciate you listening and send it in, because we don't have any ball anymore, so we can talk about whatever the fuck we want.
Whatever we want. And we're going to be bringing guests on. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for the off season.
Me too. Me too. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys listening this season, and we will see you again Thursday. Although we will be going to one episode a week coming soon, but we will give you a Thursday episode this week. So we will see you then.
Sponsors are going to be pissed. Adios.